Hey yo YouTube, I am continuing my D&D journal of my D&D game. Last we left off, we were just about to go meet Spotted Pride and heading to the Barbarian Wilderness. Uh, we end up in I want to say it was a village or a city outside of the wilderness, and we end up asking some questions to the locals. Eventually, eventually getting word of someone who spotted this mucho jefe. Go talk to him. Uh, he says that he thinks that it's more than one of them out there. That he's seen at least two. Uh, Most people probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference though. Um, End up paying him to be a scout to go out there. So we end up heading out there. My character ends up roaring in in Seville. The language, because women speak the same language as Centaurs. Uh, a satire. That's what it is. I don't know why I said Seville. Satire. He starts roaring message from Star Clan and I think friend every few minutes for like a couple of seconds. We do this for a while, and then he ends up popping out and asking if you got a message from Star Pride, then what are you doing with two legs? And we ended up breaking down what's going on. We're on a mission to gather up all the clans. Um, One thing I also don't think I ever mentioned was that the door is supposed to lead to the Wimmick Kingdom, but also along with granting us communication with Star Clan and giving the Stars nine lives again. Um, he does end up telling us that there are two of them. The other one is on the other side of the river, and that they are both of that. Spotted Pride, once when Spotted Pride came to this area, they also ended up splitting into two groups. Uh, they are from Jungle Pride, and this area isn't Jungle Pride though. It's just these two. Like they were born here, but they ended up moving, or their pride ended up moving. And in between, the same thing. In between where we are and they are is the Plain Pride. Both prides do follow the warrior code though. So we ended up saying, well, we have to get both of them then. We'll probably end up talking to them and then talking to the other one on the way. Um, while we're talking, the DM ends up asking all of us to do spot check, and I end up seeing a person, a person with a crossbow in the bushes, and like immediately I ended up saying roll initiative, shoot my arrow at him. And then a bunch of people end up like we're surrounded. A bunch of people end up coming up and attacking us. Like one real big, like all of them were black, and there was like one real big black one just came right at my character. Uh, we fought them all off. Ended up keeping a few of them alive. Uh, uh, Pretty much came to the conclusion that they were poachers. Um, kept two alive. I want to say at the time we brought them like recesses, and the DM also pointed out that they only targeted uh me and the other women. Like they did fight the other ones too when they got in the way, but they were incredibly going after the Wimmics. So we questioned them, and also they appear to be two different poaching groups. Like the escort that brought us out there, like looking at him, he's like, these two groups are different. They usually don't work together. So we questioned the prisoner, and we end up finding out that for whatever reason, Wemmick's parts have gone up in value. Where before it was just like their furs and stuff, but now like all their organs and all their parts for whatever reason have like tripled, doubled in value. Um, and since it's almost impossible to take down a pride Wemmick, since they heard about this single Wemmick here, um, they figured, well, they'll go after that. Also, Nina was using the spell to read his mind, so she was getting like she was just asking him questions and taking the stuff out of his mind. Um, we do find out that they were following Mucho Jefe, and then saw me, and then we were like, they decided to go for it. Of course, Mucho Jefe isn't his real name. It ends up being some like really Hispanic name I can't remember, and I never took the note. Um, to cross the river, or to, like I said, to get to the other Wemmick, the other jungle pride Wemmick, we had to cross a river. All the humans were just gonna go to town and take a boat. Uh, the spotted Wemmick said that he would swim through it, and also that probably the regular characters couldn't do it. And since my character followed the warrior code, I was like, well, I reject the comforts of a two leg. So if you're swimming across it, I'm swimming across it. Again, just did like a handful of rolls. The DM said it should have been like a shitload of rolls, but since it was so much and he just want the game to move on, he just made me do like three. Either before or after we crossed the river, we ended up making camp. And whenever we made camp, once again, we ended up going into a dream state. I think again we saw both Armoretti and Admiral, and we were like in a town, and she showed like the town was empty. She showed us a spot and said this spot leads to another door, and these doors are going to quicken your mission. You'll be able to get one spot to another. She says that when we do, Einstein or Admiral will be the one that leads us. Will show us the path that we need to take, or else we'll get lost. Um, when we wake up, the Wemmick sees us, and again we were in like a dreamlike state. Except for I guess this time they did it right, so it was just like overnight. It wasn't a week. Um, we did ask Amoretti a few questions. Like I asked how many Wemmicks do we need, stuff like that to open the door, and she didn't really give me a straight answer. And that was really the only question that's been sitting on me since the last time we seen her. But like I said, the Wemmick saw us in this dreamlike state. So now he was convinced. He knew our mission was legit. And then when we meet the other Wemmick, he tells them that like, hey, I saw them in this dreamlike state. So like, I'm pretty sure what they're saying is true. So we travel on with the second Wemmick, and to go meet the Plains Pride. And when we run into them, it turns out that they're like cheetahs and stuff. Like, or at least one in particular looked like a cheetah. Like, they definitely look different than Jungle Pride. Before we met them, though, we go to the town that that Armoretti showed us, and like now it's populated. Like she told us to leave a mark, to where the door and stuff we were supposed to go to. So it takes us a while. We go through some checks, do some checks, find the spot. I believe it was a merchant place, so we end up negotiating with him, and he lets us like search his spot, and we end up finding another door. Go through it, and like they told us that we go through it, and it's like I said, it's just some kind of another dimension. We go through it. We've gone through similar things in the higher campaign, but I want to say this is the first time this party's gone through it, and we end up doing a spot check and end up seeing a trail, cat paw trails, and we follow them. We we end up finding another door. Opening it. When we open it, I believe I believe it was. It's like a tomb we're at. Like there's a skeleton, and I want to say inside. No, I want to say inside there was empty, and then whenever we exited, there ended up being a group of gnolls. And if you want to hear more about my games, watch the next video, like, subscribe, and all that stuff, and check you later.